Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris here from Scale Speed Garage, where we turn model car and truck builders into 3D printing experts. Just wanted to bring you a quick Tech Tip Tuesday video. This is a series we do every Tuesday where we drop a little video on just a quick tip for improving your 3D prints. And today I wanted to talk about placement of supports and when counterintuitive support placement might be just the right way to go. So we are looking at this trunk lid. I'm working on the AMT 1941 Plymouth, the Coca-Cola kit, and decided that I wanted to open up the trunk to be able to show off some things in the trunk. And so as I got doing that, I thought it would be really cool actually to come up with a trunk lid that has some bracing on the bottom side on the inside of that trunk lid there. And then I thought, I can actually build in some holes for the wire for the hinges as well. And so that's what we're looking at here. Now, I think a lot of people would be tempted to print this kind of piece somewhat flat or just off of flat to save a lot of printing time. But I'm here to tell you that in general, that is exactly the opposite of how I would want to print this. In general, one of the main considerations when we are resin 3D printing is we always want to be trying to present as minimal of a cross-section to the FEP film, the screen, as possible. And what that does is that reduces the peel forces that the part is going to see every time it peels away from the FEP film between layers. And it's going to vastly improve the successes that you have with printing and reduce those print failures that are a waste of time and resin and money. So for something like this, I am going to put this at some angle just off of vertical, probably not straight up and down as in 90 degrees off of the build plate, probably on a little bit of an angle so that we aren't trying to print the entire edge all in one flat layer either. But I think a lot of people would be tempted to keep this kind of angled towards the bottom of the trunk lid or the inside of the trunk lid here. After all, we typically would try and avoid putting supports on the outside of a car body if at all possible. But in this case, I think that's absolutely the opposite of what you want to do. And here's why. If we're looking at the inside of this trunk lid, no matter how small your supports are, and you should be using light supports, and if you're not, come check out some more of our videos and see why we 100% recommend using lots of light supports instead of a few heavy supports. But either way, there's going to be some cleanup of support marks that needs to be done. And if I look at the inside of this trunk lid, I start realizing I don't really want to have to contend with all these different contours when I'm getting in there with some sandpaper or a sanding sponge or whatnot. So as counterintuitive as it might seem, I am actually going to print this trunk lid canted over a little bit towards the outside of the trunk lid, and any support marks that I have here on the outside of the trunk lid, which you would think would be really visible on the model, because it's on that smooth surface, this big broad smooth surface that doesn't have any fine contours or details that I have to try and sand around, it means that I can just really sand those off very easily, even if I need to, which I probably won't because of the light supports. But if I absolutely needed to, I could pretty easily run a nice thin layer of skim coat of body filler on it and then sand that. But again, guys, just pays to think about every step down the road and not just the slicing and supporting and printing parts of it, but really think about every step that part that you're printing is going to take between the computer screen and the finished model. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking us out. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all under Scale Speed Garage. We'll see you in the next one. Happy modeling.